Amazon's an open marketplace.
Okay.
So anyone can buy and sell on Amazon. That's why it's really important that brands, especially in their young stages, take control of Amazon.
What's your forecast for Amazon? Do you feel like it's going to turn into like a social media platform as well, or what do you think?
So I think that's one of the areas that Amazon is really trying to compete, especially all this. Is TikTok going to be banned? We're back in it again, right? The 75-day, I called it a stay of execution, is almost up.
Hey everyone, my name is Brandon Estrada, and this is the Hefé Media Podcast. I'm here today with Amazon expert Colin Snowball. How are
Wonderful.
you?
I'm great, man. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Yeah. I know today was like a kind of a wild day for me. I was trying to like move a bunch of moving parts, but you like were very flexible with me, and I really appreciate it.
Just honored to be here, man. Yeah.
Awesome.
Dig in.
Awesome. So can you tell me a little bit about yourself? I mean, from what I know, that you're an Amazon expert. Everything that you've been doing up until this point has been focused on Amazon. And so can you kind of maybe shed a little light on what you do?
Yeah. So I moved to California about 7 years ago. I was thinking about it this morning as I knew we were going to come chat. And I was like, man, it's been May.
How long have you been like that? Because like, if I speak for myself,
I originally
like,
moved out to California to join an Amazon
but there's been like
agency.
a lot of times where I just like would take the contract or whatever.
And it was one of those situations where I was really just chasing this West Coast dream. I just wanted to live in California.
Okay.
And got on with this agency, had no idea what a big deal they were in this world. The world was new to me. I was in affiliate marketing before that.
Okay.
And so at Quiver, I held many positions. I was there for 4 years. I did everything from running strategy behind the scenes for all of our brands. And we're talking big CPG brands like Philips Hue Lighting, SCJ, Method, Baby Ganix, all the way into like really buzzy beauty brands, Sephora exclusive beauty brands, Drunk Elephant. And, every brand on Amazon, you're looking at distribution, you're looking at, pricing, the economics, just everybody needs a custom strategy.
Okay.
So that's really where I got my footing. And then I moved on to another agency as well.
Okay.
And I spent 2 years as a vice president there at that agency before going out to start my own consulting and advising firm, and that's called Digital Shelf Strategies.
Okay, so, Digital Shelf Strategies. It's a good name.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. We always say in the Amazon world, we want your digital shelf to be representative of your physical shelf in retail. So, if a brand's at Target, we want to make sure that Amazon digital shelf, so to speak, is in line with, pricing strategies, promotional strategies, but even the look and feel, right?
Mm-hmm.
On Amazon, you have a lot you can do with content, whether it's A+ content, that's the below the fold when you're scrolling through, or, building that brand store to really, make sure that people know this is the official brand on Amazon. Amazon's an open marketplace. So anyone can buy and sell on Amazon. That's why it's really important that brands, especially in their young stages, take control of Amazon. With the beauty brands, for example, I always use this example of, many of them say we don't want to be on Amazon. They're premium. But there's some guy in Florida who's buying your product off the shelf at Ulta or Sephora, keeping it in his 150-degree garage in the summer, and then selling that, and people think they're buying that from the brand.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really about the importance of taking control, both from content, also how Amazon can help your other strategies, whether that's retail, whether you're on TikTok Shop, all these exciting things that are coming up in the space right now.
So what are like one of the indicators? You said like some guy in Florida is selling a beauty product. What are some of the indicators that can give the consumer like clarity on if they're buying from the brand or from like a third party, for example?
Yeah, so it's interesting you mentioned that because there are authorized third-party sellers in this space, right? Like, so that's where I've spent the bulk of my time, is it authorized third-party sellers, where we were in direct partnerships with the brands, we're buying their product, selling it on their behalf, and then we don't charge them any fees through the process. So you can trust those sellers. Really what it takes is just a little bit of research while you're on the Amazon platform. So Amazon has what's called the buy box. Right? And so it's an open marketplace. You can have 15 people selling, right? If there's a product on Amazon, all the sellers should be on the same page, right? So on Amazon, the UPC of the product is what determines its ASIN. That's essentially the product page, the display page on Amazon. So you want to look at that buy box before you just add to cart or hit buy now, and you want to see who's selling it. So ships from Amazon means it's FBA. That's, that 2-day delivery. I pulled up here. There was,
there was a bunch of Amazon people. I was just like, I've been like, it's funny because everywhere I'm going, I'm seeing like Amazon, and I'm just like thinking about you now.
Yeah,
it's funny.
And so you definitely want to take advantage of FBA. Conversion's much higher. But one of the things you want to look at as a consumer is really, just click on that seller and see what their reviews are. See how many transactions they've had in the last 12 months.
Okay.
You can get a really good idea pretty quick just by looking at that.
Okay,
so
cool.
That's the first step. On the flip side, for the brands, if a rogue seller is selling a product and it's a bad experience and the consumer leaves a negative review on that product, that lives on forever.
Okay.
So it goes back to the importance of why you need to take control as a brand on Amazon very quickly.
Okay.
So, if a rogue seller from Florida, and let's say he sells an expired beauty product and that consumer gets it and their comment is, this seller sucks, it's an expired product, Amazon's not going to block that out. So even when the brand takes control and starts selling, that review is going to be on that display page.
Okay.
So there's both sides of that coin, right? For the consumer to make sure that they're buying authentic product, especially in the beauty industry, there's a lot of fake products sold on Amazon.
Okay.
Right. So there are solutions, right? There's great boutique agencies that can help you remove those rogue sellers. But in the U.S. we have what's called the first sale doctrine. So that means basically it's legal to buy and resell. You can't really stop it unless you, as a brand, you analyze distribution and understand where those leaks are happening.
What about like education? Like, I mean, for example, like what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Like, are brands doing that in terms of like, hey, if you buy on Amazon, just be aware of XYZ, or like make sure you buy from an authorized dealer, for example?
It's tough. You can do some of that. But, again, Amazon wants to drive the lowest price. They actually love the competition. They want rogue sellers.
Okay.
So Amazon's not incentivized to help you clean that up, right? There's actually, just to jump around a little bit on you, there's a term called a broken buy box, for example. So one of the things that Amazon does, and this is good for consumers as well to know this, if you look at a display page on Amazon, let's say you're shopping for your favorite shampoo, and instead of add to cart or buy now, you see a little pop-up that says see all buying options. I don't know if you've ever seen that. You have to click there, and then it shows you all the different sellers.
Okay.
That means that Amazon, as a corporation, has identified that product is cheaper elsewhere online, whether it be Target or Walmart. So they do what's called breaking the buy box. And they do that essentially to incentivize the sellers that are selling that product to lower their price, because Amazon always wants to be the most competitive price as a corporation.
Yeah.
They think that's what drives volume. So as a brand, I've talked to so many brands throughout the years of all different company sizes, all different stages. A lot of these brands are learning a lot more about Amazon and how to effectively, even if it's just combat the rogue sellers.
Okay.
But there's still a number of people, and especially the up and coming brands that I chat with, they really don't know as much about Amazon or have the tools, right? I think 90% of brands don't have the amount of tools that someone who's been in the Amazon space, even just 2 years, has access to really go into competitor data, what's happening in the category, for example, as a whole.
Yeah. And so, interesting. And so like as far as like what you offer to clients, like what are you offering to clients right now? Like specifically, how can you benefit these brands?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I'm doing right now is I'm helping these brands understand what model on Amazon is the best for them. Should they be with resellers in an authorized partnership where it's a hands-off approach? They don't have to really touch anything. They sell their product. They get to turn it into wholesale, right? Analyzing what does their shipping setup look like? Are they set up to have their own seller account and be able to do the proper prep for FBA, minimize the fees, helping them understand the economics, right? Amazon fees on the seller side have just gotten out of control over the last.
And what is typically, what's that dynamic like?
Yeah. So your FBA fee, if you're sending into Amazon, is based on the weight and dimensions of the product.
Okay.
And so you can actually go and look up FBA revenue calculator. That's a really easy one. But then the other thing is, as a seller, Amazon takes 15% of your sale. Okay. That's the referral fee just for operating on Amazon's platform.
It's like their Uber.
Yeah, exactly. So they take 15%.
Okay.
then your FBA fee, depending on the weight and dimensions of your product, right? So like a little beauty brand, like, that's a $58 serum that's in a 3-ounce bottle, obviously those economics are going to be pretty good. Now we work with someone like Method or Baby Organics where we're shipping liquids, baby products that are shampoos, and it's a competitive price because it's on the shelf at Target. Those economics, they start to shrink, right?
Yeah. And I remember you mentioned something about like mattresses before too.
Yeah.
So that would be like something that's more complicated, right?
Yeah. I've done, a high level of revenue on bed in a box, and so that's really complex because when I was with my last company and partnered with this brand to help them really drive strategy, maximize their in-stock rate, we were direct importing from Indonesia.
Wow.
So then you're putting stuff on the water for 60 to 75 days. You're talking about how do I keep those appointment times? Because once you set an appointment time, if it doesn't show up at Amazon within a certain amount of time, they cancel that appointment. So you want to make sure you don't have stranded inventory. You can get really granular here, but just on the fees, there's two other things. Amazon has also increased their fees. Back in the day, the glory days of Amazon, you'd ship in to one facility, they cross-stock all of that product across the U.S., you're golden. So all I had to do was pay for my inbound freight to one Amazon facility. It's going to get spread out, and Amazon's going to fulfill from there. They've decided that for their profitability at Amazon Corporate, that they now need to have you help shoulder that cost. So now you get presented with options. Do I want to ship to one facility? Now there's an inbound placement fee on top of your 15% referral fee, your FBA fee. Or if I ship to 3 places, it's a little bit lower fee. Or if I ship to 5, it's no fee.
Okay.
But then I'm sending 5 truckloads to different places and my cost goes up.
Okay.
So that's one of the fees they introduced in the past year, which, I have great solutions for that. We have, kind of middle mile solutions that I can always connect a brand to where they can ship to one place, and then that company, because they're kind of putting everyone together, all of their partners, they then break that out into 5 different trucks. We minimize the fees. The other recent seller fee that they did, this is maybe 6 months ago. It used to be that if I shipped 10 cases into Amazon of a product and Amazon lost a case of that, it was like I got the sale for every unit in that case. Well, now Amazon's saying, well, we'll give you back what we think the reasonable cost of goods would have been. So profitability is shrinking across the board is really what I'm trying to get at. And I think that's a big place that I can help brands.
Okay. So to kind of summarize like some of your niching, like the niche that you're like focusing on is like helping companies save money, basically.
Helping companies improve profitability, find the best path to growth, and also meet the right partners.
Okay, interesting. And what do you think has made like Amazon so successful over like the past couple of years?
I think they were the first to really, Amazon itself is it's a logistics network, right? The genius of Bezos was building out the fulfillment centers, being able to do that 2-day shipping. I mean, I'm at that point now where it's like if I go buy on a brand's D2C for my clothes or something like that, and I'm like, it's going to be a week and a half?
Yeah.
Like, that's a very reasonable amount of time for something to get to us, but we've been conditioned now by Amazon that now, right? And so that's where, we try to help brands. What's the right distribution strategy, even on Amazon? Can you merch and fulfill? What's that do to conversion?
Okay.
But the other thing that Amazon has done phenomenally is provided a place for established brands especially to be able to grow exponentially.
Okay.
Right. But Amazon has really become a pay-to-play marketplace.
Pay-to-play.
Yeah.
So, but what do you think about like, because from what I understand, like how Amazon started was like they were losing money at the beginning. And like, what do you think about that? Like that strategy, I guess, like.
Yeah. I mean, you got to give Bezos credit for really believing in his vision. They're obviously massive now. They're like
$1 trillion company, no?
Yeah, I don't even know what the exact stat is, but again, it's the logistics network. I mean, for brands that are fulfilling, like let's say TikTok Shop, you can now use Amazon's fulfillment network. You can put your inventory into FBA, and so they're distribution as a service, so to speak. Cloud services. They've expanded in all these things, but where they're really, brands are struggling to understand if it's worth their money is on the advertising front. There's all different types of advertising, right? There's sponsored brands, sponsored product placements.
On Amazon.
On Amazon.
Okay.
Then we get into off Amazon, right? Amazon has what's called their demand side platform, DSP.
Okay.
People in the advertising world, DSP is nothing new, but many brands I talk to have no idea what this is. It's a great way for brands to do a couple different things. One is if you look at the advertising funnel, they get to move up that funnel into what we consider the in market. So with DSP, we're following people around the internet, not just on Amazon.
Okay.
So let's say you clicked on this nice jacket that you're rocking today, right? And you're like, okay, I'm interested in this jacket, but I'm selling a competitive product on Amazon. Mm-hmm. I can see that you clicked on that other competitor and then start targeting you. Like, let's say you got a weekend trip to Nicaragua or something like that, right?
Yeah.
You go to weather.com to see what the weather's going to be. All of a sudden you see my ad placement on weather.com.
Okay.
Right? And I wanted to take you back to Amazon to get you to buy my jacket. So DSP, I have to update my stats, but back in the day, they had 67 of the ComScore top 100 websites they had placements on.
Do you think, like one of my questions is, like, what's your forecast for Amazon? Do you feel like it's going to turn into, like, a social media platform as well, or what do you think?
You know, I think what they're trying to do is really figure out live shopping, right? TikTok Shop is blown up. Right. Okay. And a lot of the brands that I'm working with, you know, especially new brands, I'm actually telling them not to focus on Amazon right now. Be on Amazon, but that's not where you should spend your money. Depending on where you're at, what size you are, go spend on TikTok Shop. Mm-hmm. The discoverability of TikTok Shop is leading to conversion on Amazon.
Okay. Right? How so? I know you kind of explained it a little bit, but just to kind of reiterate, because repetition.
I think the biggest thing is, you know, depending on what generation we're targeting, whether it's Gen Z, you know, millennials, many people are on TikTok Shop, right? And TikTok Shop, what they did as a genius is they said all these brands are struggling to have one-off contracts with influencers, right? In the past, it was like, I'm going to recruit Hefé Media to push my product. Here's the agreement. So TikTok Shop has basically said, hey, here's the blanket agreement for all of our affiliates, all of our creators.
Okay.
And then they created a platform to allow you to send them product, to get them to post videos about it. And then you decide, you know, what their cut is, right? So on average, 15 to 25% referral fee going to that creator on TikTok Shop. But these micro influencers, these even bigger influencers, they have a captive audience. And so, yes, there's conversion that's happening on TikTok Shop. Mm-hmm. The brands then either have to fulfill that either from their FBA inventory, they have to fulfill it direct from their warehouse. TikTok does have fulfillment by TikTok. There's only like 4 to 6 right now. It's not the best program that I've seen. But what we see is brands that really go deep on TikTok Shop, the branded search, because we can measure that on Amazon. It's a hockey stick, right? We see that people are all of a sudden finding a product on TikTok Shop. We trace it back to a viral video or a viral moment in time, and then we see this search just skyrocket. So even if conversion stays the same as it was, that increase in branded search leads to that exponential growth. And then Amazon, to kind of compound on that, Amazon is based on relevancy, right? So you want to move up the fold on the search results. Amazon's not SEO. That's what I tell a lot of these young brands that I talk to. They may have a really unique brand name, and they launch, and day 2 they go, I don't show up on the page when you search for my brand.
For credibility or what?
Credibility is a good way to say it. Amazon has no record of people searching that and converting on your product. So they show what converts.
Got you. It's more of like the bottom line.
It's the bottom line.
Amazon's the bottom line, and then TikTok's more brand, basically.
Brand discoverability.
Okay.
I think, brand awareness. And then Amazon is where you want the conversion to happen ultimately because TikTok Shop is expensive as well.
Okay. But just to reiterate, so TikTok Shop and Amazon, they're not like working together at all?
They're not working together right now. You know, it doesn't mean that they couldn't, but I think that's where Amazon is trying to create an alternative to TikTok Shop. They've been trying for years, by the way. They've had live shopping. They've had, you know, a lot of different, but, you know, we always used to joke back in the day, you'd scroll down on the Amazon homepage and you'd say, you know, oh, this product's, you know, got an influencer talking about it today. The only people watching that are that influencer's friends and their parents. Right?
Yeah.
Whereas TikTok Shop, their algorithm, they show that video to more people. And if you're in partnership with them, they can really boost that video. So I think that's one of the areas that Amazon is really trying to compete, especially all this, is TikTok going to be banned? We're back in it again, right? The 75-day, I called it a stay of execution, is almost up.
Okay.
So I think they want to try to compete and have a better creator network within Amazon to really get them to that next level of growth.
So as far as like you said, for new brands, you wouldn't recommend them to really get established on Amazon, or?
I don't think it's a bad idea to be on Amazon. I don't think it's where your dollars go the furthest though. Right. So I was just talking to this great young beauty brand, really buzzy the other day, and they're saying, hey, we just launched in, January. They have phenomenal reviews, right? They did the right things. They content is beautiful, right? They got into the Vine program. The Vine program gives established reviewers on Amazon free product, not in exchange for reviews, but they know that they're supposed to review that. So they've got a great review count, but for them to start spending on advertising and pushing a ton of dollars at such a young stage in their company, I actually told them, like, hey, go focus on TikTok Shop.
Okay.
You're here on Amazon. People can convert, but your return on ad spend, your metrics, your cost of acquisition to start playing the Amazon advertising game, it's too young for you to really get the most out of your dollars.
Interesting. So then, and that was just like a regular conversation. You weren't you weren't consulting or anything.
Yeah, they reached out to me through another partner that they've been working with on the creator side. But yeah, no, that wasn't a monetized conversation. That was just,
that's just adding value.
Yeah, that's awesome. What I tried to do, right? And
that's another thing too. I mean, I know we're talking about Amazon, but I know you're like very knowledgeable in sales too, and like. Like what are, I mean, I know we both study Kabbalah, for example. Like what are like some of the principles that you are implementing in terms of like building a career for yourself?
Yeah. And, I've been in sales or sales adjacent roles through the last 7 years on Amazon, right? My last title was Vice President of Business Development, right? And I'm really proud of what I did there, for a company that was about 35 baseline million on Amazon, brought in 40 million last year for them in additional revenue. Right, so doubled that company.
Wow.
I think my philosophy in sales is to just be hyper curious. Right. I'm into solution based sales. I'm not the used car salesman that's like, I can sell water to an Eskimo.
Yeah.
Right? That's not my vibe. My vibe is, let me find out as much as I can about your company, and then I want to help you. Sometimes I'll say, hey, I think I'm the one to help you, whether it's, my partners or, the people that I'm working for. Other times it's, hey, go meet my friend over here who has a boutique agency, and I think he can provide more value to you for where you're at.
Okay.
That in itself has paid dividends and come back around, because those are the people I get the most referrals from.
Yeah.
Just being honest with people about, and it was the same conversation with, that Buzzy Beauty brand. They said, hey, like, we really appreciate the fact that you didn't try to like put a contract in front of us and say, I can grow you to this.
Yeah.
Right? And I think the other thing,
transparency,
but also just, like I joked about always be rolling here in sales. They say always be closing.
I was just going to ask you, but go ahead, go finish it.
So I changed that philosophy. My ABC, always be closing, is ABG, always be giving.
Always be giving.
If I'm giving, if I'm coming from a place of how can I help this person, I believe the universe will bring me the sustenance back, and whether it's from them or other ways.
So my follow-up question was like, how long have you been like that? Because like if I speak for myself, like I've been an entrepreneur for a long time, but there's been like a lot of times where I just like would take the contract or whatever, because it's like you got to get what you got to get, you know what I mean? And now I'm more like in alignment with what you're saying. Like I'm like constantly like for example, I did the David Guillaume event with
seminars
with Joelle, right? And there's some lady I know, she's a dentist, and she was asking me like what kind of clients are you focusing on? And I was just like, consciousness. Like I told her like,
I love
like
that.
people that just was like have like a different type of consciousness. Like that's what I told her. But like how long have you been like that, or how did you learn that basically?
I think part of it is learning lessons the hard way. Right. So like, to take a step back, it's like there are, with knowledge on Amazon or in any profession, what you eventually get to is like, what is the right client for the services I have to offer? Right. And like, I think not from a place of like, what can I get out of this? But like, I was that eager young guy when I got in the Amazon guy, and I believed, like, every brand believes in their brand, and they come to you and they sell you on that story. And and you buy into it. You're like, yes, this pet brand is going to be the next big pet brand. And you launch them, and it's really difficult. So part of it was learning lessons the hard way. The other part was, I feel like even before I started my own thing, I was really lucky to be with leadership teams that believed in that similar philosophy.
Okay.
And allowed me to say no to brands and allowed me to say, no, go meet my other friend over here. You know, because the Amazon world becomes a small world once you're in it for a while. For sure. And you get to know who the good people are.
I feel like even the podcast space is even like a little small world too. Like you'll like see faces and stuff, but yeah, no, I mean, just to like, because I feel like even like I went to an event before, and I think Sarah Blakey, you know who Sarah Blakey is? Heard of her?
Blakely.
Okay,
so let me stop you for a second.
Go ahead.
I went to Florida State.
Okay.
Sarah Blakely is one of our most famous alumnus. I'm a huge Sarah Blakely fan.
Okay, so I went to an event, and her husband was speaking. Jesse.
I don't know him as well.
Yeah, so he was talking about like he had a aviation company, travel company, and he was like closing like these celebrities and stuff, and he was like telling them like basically that he had like this big company, but he didn't have anything, but he was just trying to make the sale, you know. And so I kind of look at it like that, like now this guy's like really successful, he's you know, beautiful family and everything, and I don't feel bad about like how I've been in the past.
No,
but it's just like I can reflect on like the pain, you know what I mean? And I'm like, but now I feel so much more relieved on like the direction and the clarity of like where I'm going, you know?
Yeah. Can I tell you something else about Sarah Blakely?
Yeah, for sure.
One of her, I've listened to her masterclass, for example, how she built Spanx in that business. Mm-hmm. I mean, just talk about someone who believed in the product. She also is a born salesman. Yeah. Right. She was like door to door B2B sales before she created Spanx. Wow. So she had that skill set. Mm-hmm. And then just like, she likes to say she didn't know the space well enough to know I'm not supposed to do this. So it was like, she's like, hey, I'm in your neighborhood. And then I'm booking the flight to go if they take the meeting. Right. Okay. And but a
lot of that, right?
Yeah. A lot of that, you know, it's flooding the system with like, I'm pushing this, I'm going to make this work. But my favorite thing is her father, supposedly, this is from her, growing up at the dinner table, the question every night was, what did you fail at today? Mm-hmm. Right? Taking that negative connotation away from failing and being like, there is no failing, there's learning lessons. And so I think, you know, you look at what she's built from beyond that. It's amazing. It's
interesting because, I mean, this is kind of like a side topic, but like even like, so I'm in a basketball league, right? Yeah. I mean, you play basketball too. Yeah. And we had 2 games this Sunday, right? And we lost one, we won one. Yeah. But like I put more value into the one we lost. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I'm like looking at, because my dad, he films the games and stuff, and so I study the film or what have you. Yeah. Yeah. And like I see more value in the one that we lost, you know, and like I think that's in life too.
Well, you know, I've coached basketball a lot. I actually got to give a shout out. One of the guys that, you know, I used to work for the Florida State basketball team. I'm a huge Noel fan. Mm-hmm. We have a new coach.
But you were saying like your coach, he got a promotion. He's the head coach now. Yeah. And so you played at?
I was a manager at Florida State.
You were the manager, okay.
I was one of 4 guys, undergraduate guys. Uh-huh. So, you know, I've got my 2012 ACC championship ring. It's one of my prized possessions. Okay. But really, you know, one of the things that I've been really proud of myself, and like, you know, I think, you know, I was listening to one of our also teachers in Kabbalah the other day talking about, you know, the prideful, like, yeah, you get to say like, I'm proud of this. I did a good job here. Is I've always kind of gone after what, you know, I had passion for. Mm-hmm. It used to be basketball coaching. For sure. I wanted to be a coach. And so I tried out, like, you know, you work 3 weeks in the summer at the summer camps for Florida State basketball, and you're just doing all the grunt work. Oh, wow. You know? And so it's funny because I always say, like, I didn't join a frat because I didn't want to give pledge rides and clean apartments. And instead of doing that for a short amount of time, I basically took a job in college sports where you were the grunt for everything.
For sure.
But I got to work under one of the best college coaches of all time.
Awesome.
You know, Leonard Hamilton, he just retired. And so it's an exciting time in basketball for Florida State fans because Luke Laux, who was a point guard on that 2012 ACC championship team, has been coaching in the NBA, most recently an assistant on the Kings, actually just took that job. So, nice. You know, it's fun to see. But, again, you know, that was for me, it was I called the director of basketball operations when I was a freshman in college and was like, I want to work for the team. How do I do it? Mm-hmm. He was like, come work camp with us and we'll see if we like you.
Okay.
You know, and it's the same thing with California for me. I had this West Coast dream, and, you know, to kind of tie it back to Amazon, it was beautiful because I did not know what I was getting into. The job at Quiver was a vessel, was an opportunity to move to California. and it's turned into lifelong friends and a career and a place where I get to provide value and give back to people. You know, the founders of that company, like, they didn't tell me how great their agency was. They were just like, hey, if you want to learn Amazon and you're willing to move to California, you got a job. Like,
wow.
And those are some of my best friends now.
So you're from Florida, or?
I grew up in Florida. I was born in Georgia, and then I moved to Florida at like 10.
Okay.
My family opened restaurants, so I've been working since I was about 11 years old.
Okay. Yeah. So you give a lot of credit to your family.
Oh, absolutely.
In terms of like a lot of different lessons, business lessons, customer service.
Growing up in the restaurants, especially, I think everyone should have to work in the food industry.
Okay.
You know, I was a relatively sheltered kid. And going into the restaurants, you know, you have all types of people, right? One, you get to meet your regulars that, you know, they're coming in 2-3 times a day.
Oh, yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And so you get to really build those relationships in business and provide value there. And then 2, you're like seeing the other side of the handle too, right? People that are scamming you, you know, the quick change artists that are coming in, and before you know it, the cash register's all out of cash and you don't know what happened.
Oh.
You know, so you see all, you know, it was this crash course in life.
For sure.
And then, you know, the crazy thing about those restaurants were, you know, my family, very successful. Both parents have MBAs, worked in corporate America, very successful in sales. My dad's just retired. He's been C-level, you know, chief operating officer, CEO roles at big companies.
Nice.
He's facilitated sales of companies, you know, learning from him, being on the long car rides on vacation.
So you kind of learn through the example.
Osmosis, you know, just like it's around you. But the crazy thing was we lost those restaurants. 2008 financial crisis hit. My family filed for bankruptcy.
Wow.
You know, my dad still worked in corporate America. It's not like we were like, you know, in a really, like, you know, it could have been much worse, but you know, going through that experience of working and pouring your heart and soul into something, and then having, you know, the financial environment around you swallow that up.
Yeah.
You know, that was a lesson for me. We had 2 beautiful homes. We lost everything. We lost all our cars, you know, so that was also like, you know, hey, like, no wasted energy though.
Yeah,
you know, like,
for sure.
It's a tough moment to go through, but the lessons you learn are what prepare you for what's
I always
next.
feel like when your back is against the wall, when you like pretty much have like nothing to lose per se, is like when you are like most powerful in a lot of ways, right?
Absolutely.
Like you really can like dig deep and be like, I don't know. I was watching The Dirt, for example.
Okay.
Have you heard of that movie?
No.
It's on Netflix. It's based off Motley Crue. Have you heard
okay.
The Motley Crue?
Yeah.
And one of the dudes, like, I related to him so well. It was like when they're barely starting the band, the older dude in the band, he was just like, I don't give a fuck. Like let's just start this shit. Like, if you're serious. He didn't want to like no like dap in, nothing like that. He was just like straight to business. And I'm like, I feel like I'm at that point right now where I'm just like, yeah, of course, you know, I'm gonna have fun or what have you. But like, if we're gonna do business or something, like, I don't got time to like be fucking around, you know.
I think it's all about the mindset. It's all about the consciousness, you know. And so it's like, you know, whether it's down to business or like when you're talking about your back's up against a wall, you know, it's like, you know, how much certainty do you have that you can get out of that situation and do it the right way, you know.
Talking about certainty, I mean, and since we're like both Kabbalah students, how do you feel like Kabbalah has helped you with your life and business now?
Oh man,
moving forward.
You know, I feel like in general, like, it's not like I had a bad life before, you know, and this is what I tell people, but it's the first thing that's put all of the other tools that I've learned in my life into one thing. Okay. Generally, I just feel like I walk around with so much more peace now. Okay. You know, I mean, whether it's, you know, deaths in the family, you know, and that was one of the things that kind of drew me to Kabbalah is, you know, my sister-in-law passed away unexpectedly, trying to understand, you know, how can this happen? Why is this happening? And really to get into a community like the Kabbalah Center and that community, it's given me the tools to, no matter what's happening in my life, whether it's troubles with work or, you know, relationship or whatever that is, not only a community to bounce ideas off of, but also just the tools to know that, like, I have the power to navigate this. I think, you know, Kabbalah, if you break down, it's an empowerment movement. Yeah. It's that belief that we have it all within us.
Yeah, for sure. And it's interesting that we have Genesis coming in, because she's all about mental health too. Yeah. And so, like, I mean, Kabbalah will help anybody. Absolutely. But especially, like, if you have a mental health company, you know, like, it's going to really, really amplify your
you know message. What one of my favorite things about the Kabbalah Center is that all the people there are striving to be better, not only in their personal lives, but also in work. I mean, we have so many entrepreneurs. We have so many people.
I mean, look at you. You came in working for a company, and the next thing you know, you're like, I started my own business. I'm a consultant now, so that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, for me, it's like, it's helped so much, you know, and it's still like, it's a constant. It's for everything, right? Like, you're going to always be growing, and
absolutely,
because God is limitless, right?
Yeah.
But I can't even, like, describe how much like more peace it has given me, you know. That's like more thing. Like just calmness, more like at ease, more clarity, and it's like a constant thing that you work on, you know.
Absolutely.
So I used to be a lot more reactive, right? Yeah. And now I'm like a lot better, like so
it's funny. I'll steal something from my mom. My mom has been studying Kabbalah for years remotely, and
she's the one that introduced you,
got
right?
me into it.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And, you know, I grew up very woo-woo. I'd been exposed to all different modalities from a young age.
Okay.
I had a chakra tutor at age 11, you know. So, like, it's not like this was a foreign idea to me.
Yeah.
But, you know, she saw a video. I think it was Guillaume's video.
Okay.
Where, you know.
The chakra or.
No, this was like the most simplest, you know, pause, what a pleasure.
Okay.
You know, we say now, pause, what an opportunity.
Pause, what a pleasure.
And she was like, that's not hard. And then she did it for one day. And she realized how reactive in everyday life she was.
Yeah.
Excuse me. That's the wake up call, right? Is like, you know, I had it a little bit on the drive over here where I'm like,
yeah.
You know,
no, we all do. You know? We all do. Like, but it's like help process a lot. And especially like, for example, with my parents or like people most closest to you, it helps you like be even have a deeper, better relationship with 100%. Them, you know, because like I think David Guillaume said it, or like some of the teachers said it, like, like the people closest to you are the ones that are really gonna, you know, like stir.
Well, and, you know, my philosophy has always been is, you know, we all get to choose who we surround ourselves with, you know, and so like leaving Florida was, you know, difficult for me because I have such great friends there. I mean, those like my guys, they're in Florida, right? But my philosophy was the mindset in California, the entrepreneurship, you know, coming from Sarasota, Florida, which is a beautiful place, but does not have, you know, as many young people, the vibrancy. And it was the same thing from moving from San Diego to be by the Kabbalah Center. Like we always get to constantly reevaluate and choose what we want our surroundings to be. And then my goal in life is just to have enough money and time to go travel and be with the ones I love.
Yeah.
So like in a couple of weeks, I'm going to do like a, you know, a week and a half swing in Florida and just go see all my people and fill that cup up. And then I'll come back and I'll be back at it here.
Cool. Do you have any? We'll wrap this up right now too. Okay. Do you have any like desire to go anywhere in particular or anything? I know you're talking to my dad before the show about traveling or what have you. Yeah, travel is you know that's the goal too. That's part of the goal with you know being able to provide value, but do it on my own time and you know my work from anywhere. You know, I think we're in this new age where you can work from anywhere. So the internet.
You know, I mean, the U.S. it's the people I love and they're all over here, but I want to see the world, man. Just in general, all over. Yeah, I think for myself, like I kind of like when I started as an entrepreneur. I mean, from sports, what have you, but it was more from like an ego standpoint. You know, like you know, trying to prove something or whatever. Yeah. But now, like it's more of like I just want like freedom. You know? Like that's pretty much like the bottom line for me is like the freedom to do whatever, you know, whatever I want. I love that. That's where I'm at too. You know, as long as I can still help people, you can do it from anywhere nowadays. Yeah. You know, or like, you know, my buddies in the industry, they say, hey, we're going to Vegas tomorrow to go to this trade show. We're going to meet with X, Y, and Z. Like, who doesn't want to go meet all those cool people? Yeah. To not be limited by a home office, you know, that's like, you got to be there every day. So, you know, those are the things. Like I was just at Expo West. Yeah. You know, how was that, by the way? Phenomenal. You know, it's a great show. It's one of the friendliest trade shows in the world, I think. Okay. Cool. Having been to a lot of trade shows on the sales side of the business, and you know, one, you get to see really cool innovation. That's what I like about Expo West. You know, these whether it's food, beauty, these CPG products, you're getting to see all these people who really believe in what they're doing and are trying to change the world in many ways. You know, we're talking to a company there that's got a mushroom-based food brand, and they've been in space already. They've proven that you can grow these proteins, these mushroom proteins. I'm probably butchering that in space. They're talking about ways to end hunger, but they're doing it by selling, you know, mushroom-based yogurt on the fridge in you know, aisle in Vaughn's. So you just get to see a lot of people that are passionate, and I think that's my encouragement to any young entrepreneur, anybody who is even working. Like, get out of the house, go meet people. and just, see those people that have a passion for what they're doing, and that will create inspiration for you.
For sure. Yeah, no, I feel like there's a shift happening in the world where it's not only the bottom line.
Yeah.
Like I think the past couple decades, it's been like the bottom line, yep. But now it's more like purpose-based.
Purpose, balance. Yeah, all of those things.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Anyways, to kind of wrap this up, maybe closing on some of the like Amazon comments. If you like anything that you would want to share with any company regarding like Amazon, is there anything you would want to share in particular? Or?
Yeah, I think the one thing I'll say, if you don't mind, I'll plug my email.
For sure.
Colin, Colin @digitalshelfstrategies.com.
Okay.
If there's anything that you have questions about, you're working with a partner and you're not sure if you're in the right hands, audits is a big thing that I do for these brands.
Awesome.
If you're interested in meeting the right partners, I have a network of people that I really, really trust.
Cool.
And I think, take the call and just have the conversation. These aren't people that are going to try to sell you on a bunch of stuff right away. They're people that have a similar mindset to me. They want to provide that value.
Awesome.
So I think don't be intimidated by Amazon. There's always going to be a time and a place for it. I think work with the right partners to understand where to prioritize it. Right?
Okay.
What part of your journey should Amazon be the total focus? And, just work with good people and work with people that you'd want to invite to your wedding.
For sure. Awesome. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, no, and then we'll probably get you, like, if you want a copy of this whole recording too, I could get you the copy of the whole recording.
Thank you.
Oh, you know what? I was going to mention this. I was thinking about this. I want to introduce Sherry Feldman. I don't know. Maybe you met her before because I had invited her to one of the like seminars at the Kabbalah Center. But she focuses on beauty. Like she's a beauty copywriter.
Oh,
yeah. So I think you guys would like, I don't know, like maybe just like talk or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Writing content on Amazon is an art. And so, especially in the beauty space, I've been lucky to work with a lot.
I did a podcast with her.
Okay.
Like back in 2023.
Oh, I think I have seen clips.
Yeah.
For me, it's funny. I never thought I'd know so much about beauty. I just kind of fell into beauty. But it's one of the, like, especially economics wise on Amazon, like it's a growing category. Was working with beauty brands during COVID when, nobody could leave the house. Everybody wanted to kind of take care of themselves. You couldn't go to the salon. You couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And so beauty sales just shot through the roof. The flip side was we saw like cosmetics really dip. Right, people weren't going to an office; they didn't want to wear makeup.
Yeah.
But like at-home hair colors, there's all these trends. My other fun fact about they kind of is a quirky fact about Amazon is you can actually go to the candle category and look at the reviews from the end of 2019 and predict COVID.
Oh wow!
Because you know how COVID, a lot of people lost their smell.
Yeah.
Reviews were flooded on Amazon before people knew what COVID was. Of I can't smell this candle; it has no scent.
Oh wow!
And so whenever I'm talking to the candle brands,
that's interesting.
There was a case study done on this where you go back and it's like, oh, there's all these negative reviews on Amazon about candle scent, and it's right at the cusp of COVID. Everybody. I share that with all the candle brands. Worked with a lot of candle brands.
Okay, so like that was the reason.
It's
they fired like the marketing company. Right? All right, everyone. This was Brandon Estrada with the Hefé Media Podcast. Thank you so much, Colin.
Thank you.
A pleasure.
Appreciate you having me.
See you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.